Sponsors.
Today's episode is sponsored by NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast. Ready to expand your financial game? NerdWallet can coach you on smart strategies like choosing investments, finding your next credit card, and setting a budget that works for you. Score major points towards your summer vacation by learning expert tips for choosing a high-yield savings account and how to build wealth by investing in index funds. Slide into summer with smarter decisions in 2024. Follow NerdWallet's Smart Money Podcast on your favorite podcast app. Future you will thank you.
Hey, it's Kim Komando Today, your daily podcast to keep you up to date with all things digital and beyond. And I'd love to have you be a part of our podcast. You can make an appointment to speak with me. Just head over to komando.com, and on the top right, there's a button that says Email Kim. Fill that out, and that's it.
All right, I want you to think about this for just a second. How many phone numbers do you know right now off the tip of your tongue? How many phone numbers have you remembered? I'm probably up to like 6 or 7. That's it. And it's really hard to remember phone numbers anymore because you don't really have to. I mean, you just pull the person up on your phone and then you hit call and then that's just it. Or you tell Siri or Google to call that person. Well, what's interesting to me is that according to a company called WhistleOut, 1 in 10 people, get this, they do not know their own phone number. They don't even know their own phone number. Oh my gosh, come on, people. You have to memorize. You have to know your own phone number. It's like your social security number. Just know it. I know you're sitting there saying, Kim, memory. Oh, I don't have to worry about that. I have a photographic memory. But I'm just missing the film. Yeah. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, to this. It's America's largest show about all things digital. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, your beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. If you're a brand new listener to the show, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. And you can find The Kim Komando Show. It's an award-winning show in over 420 top stations across the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also find us as a podcast, a webcast over at komando.com. You can also get the show commercial-free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I need 2 things from each and every one of you. Number 1, in order to continue to grow the show, I need you to tell at least one person. That's it. Just one person about the Kim Komando Show, please, and thank you. Also, tell me what you want to know more about. Just email me at komando.com. There's a link that says Ask Kim. I read every single note that you send me. Hey, listen, it's great sponsors that help to make this show possible, and I'm always negotiating money-saving deals for you with our sponsors, like exclusive deals you're not going to find anywhere else. So I know that I give out a lot of different sponsor web addresses, and it can get super confusing. So that's why if you're looking for a specific sponsor and that link in order to get that deal, I put together one page for you. That's komando.com/sponsors, komando.com/sponsors. You know, every single day I visit at least 30, 40, sometimes 50 different websites to make sure that we're up to date on all things digital. That's right. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about tech. It's happening right now. We're going to start with something called a digital twin. Have you heard about this yet? A digital twin. It's so new that I bet you that your doctor doesn't even know about it. But there are 3 companies that offer this service. Virta Health, Amada, and Twin Health. But only Twin Health uses AI to reverse diabetes. Yes, you heard me say that, reverse diabetes. Here's how it works. The company collects all your body's vitals using a digital scale, a blood pressure cuff, smartwatch, and a continuous glucose monitor that they send to you. Now, all this data is collected is beyond what an Apple Watch or a Fitbit can really do. Now, these devices track how different foods and activities impact your blood sugar levels all throughout the day. Then, using this model, this is so amazing. The data is applied to your digital twin. Now, based on the twin's reaction, exact foods and precise amounts together with specific exercises and other recommendations are made. See, so before your doctor says, okay, well, let's try this and see if it works. Let's try this and see if it works. No, your digital twin, it's doing all this on your digital twin so your doc knows what works. Now, some insurance policies will even pay for this. If you need this, be sure to check with your doctor. Moving on to number 2, it's happening in the state of California, but I think you should know about it anyway, is that the state of California has come up with another way to increase taxes and micromanage our lives with something called the Green Agenda. Now, I know this stuff happens in California and I'm in Arizona, but sometimes it's like, then all of a sudden you start hearing popping up in other states and now you'll know what they're talking about. They're calling it a road charge. Now, you're going to be charged a fee based on how many miles that you drive. So for those of you who did buy an EV, You no longer pay California's expensive gas tax that's hidden in the price that you pay at the pump, or those that are simply buying less gasoline because they're driving, hybrids and more fuel-efficient cars. The government's going to charge you anyway. The plan is to tap into your car's GPS that, tracks everything. They're not only going to get your mileage, but full surveillance of where you go, when you go. Now, the state says, oh, don't worry about the data. It's always going to be anonymous. Yeah, I didn't believe them either. Moving on to number 3, a free piano. Yes, that sounds great. No. The BBB just released a big warning and an uptick of scammers pretending to give away pianos. It starts with some offer on Facebook Marketplace. And the story goes, they're downsizing. We're just looking for a good home for our beloved piano. And while the piano is free, you have to pay shipping costs. And then the supposed owner refers you to movers who demand payment via digital wallet app, wire transfer, prepaid debit card. What that means is you ain't getting your money back. And once that payment is made, the piano never arrives. So always steer clear of any deals involving third-party shipping and verify the authenticity of items, even the free ones. Moving on to number 4, Sonia Foster. She has a 12-year-old son who started playing video games when the little guy was only 4 years old. Now, at the age of 12, the kid plays between 5 and 10 hours a day, Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto. He's 12. 5 to 10 hours a day. Now, Sonia says that it's not just the time that his friends have vanished. His hygiene has gone out the window. And if you tell him to stop playing the video games, you better duck, because he's known to take out his frustrations on his mom. So, how do you think Sonia, the great mother that she is deciding to fix the problem? Well, Sonia is suing a slew of video gaming companies claiming intentional video game addiction. 16 different companies are in the lawsuit. Sony, Microsoft, EA Sports, household names. The lawsuit claims that these companies are designing their games to be as addictive as possible, especially for young players. According to the filing, they're hiring behavioral psychologists, neuroscientists to help hook the young kiddos in. 60 million people are addicted to video games. Sonia says this is how she's going to solve her problem with her son. Sonia, you're dope. Sonia, you need to take your son to a behavioral therapist, a psychiatrist. You need to take the video games away, Sonia. You need to be a mom, okay? You just need to be the boy's mother. You need to be in charge. You're not. Instead, you're wasting money with lawsuits and lawyers. Finally, this coming in at number 5. Everyone thinks they're too smart to fall for a phone scam. Well, New York Magazine financial journalist Charlotte Cowles, she's smart. She's got that New York attitude, and she's out $50,000. Yes, I said $50,000. A phone scam began with somebody posing as an Amazon agent who claimed that her Amazon account was being charged thousands of dollars in unauthorized purchases at that very moment. Now, she denied the purchases. She was transferred to someone posing as a Federal Trade Commission agent, and somebody else claimed to be from the CIA. They all convinced her that $50,000 of her own money was needed by the government to help them catch and arrest the bad guys. Oh, come on, people. Americans lost $9 billion this sort of thing last year. Remember, all the phone calls are phony, like that free piano. All right, we got a great tip on how to spot a bad doctor online, how you can make some money as an Amazon influencer. And you don't have to be 18 years old and pretty and skinny in order to do it. And also a letter from our listener mail. Should you share your password with your girlfriend or boyfriend? And of course, you have more of me and your phone calls, Kim Komando.
You love podcasts, the stories, the laughs, the unexpected turns. But when this episode ends, the silence starts. Not anymore. Audiobooks.com turns that silence into your next great adventure. With over 450,000 titles, from bestsellers to hidden gems, your love for listening just found its new best friend. And because you already know the joy of audio, we're giving you 3 free audiobooks to start your journey. Imagine your favorite podcast, now with unlimited episodes. That's audiobooks.com. Keep the story going. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. Because for podcast lovers like you, the end of an episode is just the beginning. That's audiobooks.com/podcast FREE.
Hey, listen, I want you to remember this web address, winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. Right now, just a few weeks away from giving away a brand new iPhone 15 worth $799. Yes, your name could be on the box as I send it to you, but I can't send it to you if you don't enter to win. So that's why you need to go to this address, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, let's start your phone calls. Hey, by the way, if you're ever too shy to give me a call, you can always send me your question. Just hit the website, hit that link that says Ask Kim. And Mary Jo in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hi there, Mary Jo.
Well, I have a question about our church setting up online payments for donations.
Okay.
We are at St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church, and we're an old congregation. It's 101 years old.
Oh, how beautiful.
And people are getting, up in age. We still just make our donations with a church envelope. You bring it to the church, and somebody actually physically counts the money, et cetera, and then takes it to the bank to be deposited. But we do have our children, like my grandchildren. I have a daughter in Seattle. She would still like to donate to the church, but there's no easy way to do it rather than her just mailing a check. So we're trying to figure out how are we going to be able to grade our ways to donate to the church.
So, you could always put, the easy way is you could just put a donation form right on the website of the church.
Okay.
You can accept that through PayPal, and PayPal will take a credit card. So if somebody doesn't have a PayPal account, although I think everybody does, not everybody, a lot of people do have PayPal, that you could just take a PayPal donation like that. If you wanted to take it a step further, you could create a QR code. So when I actually saw this at a Catholic church recently, because I'm Catholic, and I saw they had a QR code by the candles. I thought that was funny. And so instead of just putting, $2 or $5 to light a candle for somebody, is that all that was gone. It was just a QR code. And the QR code said, you could give $5, $10, $25 or what for those candles. And
right.
I thought,
right. Because sometimes those candles, it all depends on how fast they burn, can be very expensive.
Yeah. And also it's easier because not too many of us carry around cash anymore, quite frankly.
I don't.
Yeah. I have a good friend of mine in Santa Barbara, and we'll go out and I'll say something, I want to buy something, and I try to use my phone, and she'll be like, don't worry, I got you, Kim. Here's $5, or $10, whatever it may be. Because I'm like, I just don't carry cash. I'm like, I will Venmo you that back. Okay, I swear. So when you start looking at this as a project, it's where you have to look at it, no pun intended, as a holistic solution. Okay.
Okay.
How much do you want to do this, and how far do you want to take it? And so, so it's not just donations from a QR code inside church. Maybe it's on the website. Maybe there are things in the gift shop, whatever it may be, that for now we're going to try to figure out how to take donations multiple places where maybe we didn't even think about before. And that's where
I never thought about that. We do have a gift shop.
Yes. So that's where, you have to look at every different touch point at St. Nicholas on where are the different ways that we can give. I mean, we don't want to put a QR code on St. Nicholas outside. Okay. Because that's tacky. Okay. We don't want to do that.
Okay.
But that would be funny. That would be funny. Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe there are other places where you have naming rights, right?
Okay.
And it's just, and then, the other thing about a QR code too is that you could have a QR code that would tell a story. So what I mean by that is that, you could put a QR code on St. Nicholas, but when somebody holds that up, it goes to a video about St. Nicholas and the history of the church. I know we're getting off. I know I'm getting off of
it's a long history. Yeah. I understand.
I'm getting off of just the donations. I'm just saying that because I was making fun of putting a QR code on St. Nick, but but there are things that you could use that for that the younger people would use and appreciate. The younger people, the younger population.
Right, the younger parishioners, right.
So your basic start is you could use PayPal to accept these donations.
Okay.
Now, if you are looking at where you want to process these donations, you want to keep track of the donations, you want to, thank people, and maybe if we call them whales, if there's a whale in the midst, you're like, okay, well, we need to have a new chapel, and we're going to do donor matching. Then I want to be able to contact those people so I know who they are. And so that's where you look at, let me give you 3 options. One's called Donor Box, just like it sounds, Donor Box.
Right.
Another one's called Tithely, Tithe.
Tithely. Okay, sure.
And another one's called Givelify, Give and then Lify, Givelify. There's a whole, I didn't know this until I became really involved in Phoenix. I go to a place called Mount Claret. If you're ever in Phoenix, Mount Claret is on the side of Camelback Mountain, and it's primarily a retirement retreat for priests and nuns and deacons.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's just beautiful. Let me tell you, Mary Jo, it's just stunning. And I'm a big supporter of the church and the chapel there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a quick story. Is that so? Deacon Tom came to me and said, we need to redo the chapel. Would you and your husband, help us out? And I, absolutely. What do you guys need? And so this has been, over several years we've been doing this. So about 3 years ago, we were there, and it was the deacon and 2 of the priests and the architect and the person who was in charge of all the donations. Okay. And they said, would you guys like to contribute? And I said, absolutely. And Barry said, yes, of course. And they were showing us all the plans and things like that. And then I said to them, does this come with naming rights? And they said, yes, of course. What would you like? And I said, well, what I would like is the Kim Komando Confessional, all case. And okay. And they you should have seen their faces, Mary Jo. They just went white. And then I started laughing, and you could see like they were all of a sudden relieved, like, thank God she was kidding. Oh, yeah.
They were like, oh no.
Yeah, they're like, okay, so what do we say to this? KKK, Kim Komando Confessional. I'm not sure this is gonna work.
Yeah,
so
right. Yeah.
It was just a joke. It was just a joke. Just trying to lighten things up. So anyway, take a look at Donor Box, Tithely, and Givelify. And then if you need any help afterwards, wondering, take it to the next step, whatever it may be, Mary Jo, just give me a call back, but also check out just doing a simple donation form using PayPal. And again, thanks for your call. Reminds me of the time that a woman knocked on my door and asked for a small donation for our local community swimming pool, just a small donation. I closed the door and I said, I'll be right with you. And I came back with a glass of water. I just love supporting the community. I just love that. All right. It was in 2007 that the number of text messages sent out each and every month outnumbered phone calls. Yeah, that's a long time ago. And life has never been the same. Think about the Gen Zers. They grew up texting, and they use it differently than any other generation. And a lot can be lost in translation, especially if you're texting them these ways. Number 1, you use capital letters. Okay. No, it's not cool. It's not young. It makes you come across as you're mean, and stuffy, and scary. 2, proper punctuation. Periods and commas are super polite, but Gen Zers only use them when they're being super serious. So you don't necessarily need to use proper punctuation. Using acronyms from the early internet days. Yes, LOL. Stop that now. No, just go ahead and put a laughing emoji instead. Oh, you double space after periods. If you learn how to type on a typewriter, you do this. It's no clearer sign that you know how to use a VHS tape and a page or two, and you are old as dirt. So don't do any of that. We have more of your phone calls and more tips coming up here on the Kim Komando Show.
What does going all out at Six Flags sound like? Well, and go all out at Six Flags, where you'll scream through our record-breaking coasters like the new Georgia Surfer coming this summer. splash in the wave pool, and immerse yourself in color at the brand new Summer Vibes Festival this June. Get a season pass now and go all out all year. Visit sixflags.com to buy now.
Let's see. We're going to talk about how you can make money as an Amazon influencer. Anybody can do this, by the way, whether you're 80 or 18 or 38, doesn't matter. You can sign up and make some bucks that way. Also, how about sharing your password with your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, partner, significant other? What's the deal with that? And of course, we have your phone calls. And before we get to all of that great stuff, you know the old saying, what do you call the person who graduates last in medical school? What do you call the person who graduates last in medical school? Ready for it? Doctor. Yes. Today, the best way to check out a doctor online beyond the online reviews, which can be gained, is you have to do some extra digging. Now, you start by verifying the doctor's credentials. Are they certified? How long have they been practicing? The American Board of Medical Specialties, they have this great online database where you can check if a doctor is board certified in their specialty. You want to go to this website, certificationmatters.org. That's certificationmatters.org. And just type in the doc's name and you got it. Next, check to see if your doctor's gotten into any legal trouble. Now, every state has a medical board that licenses and oversees medical practitioners. So you go to the state's medical board's website, you type in the doc's name, and then you see their license status, any disciplinary actions or malpractice claims. Again, that's certificationmatters.org, and then just go ahead and check the medical board website for your doc's name. And I know there are all these other doctor review websites where, and you can do Google reviews, but I like going to where the certifications are because you never know if they're gaming the system or not. Let's see. Back to the phones we go with Laura in Augusta, Georgia. Hi there, Laura.
Well, I'll tell you what, my question I have, it's a brief but tragic story. My cousin was on business in New York City. He was, unfortunately, he was out for a night on the town, got in with the wrong people. He was drugged, taken back where he was staying, and then robbed. To begin with, they used his facial recognition to get into his cell phone, and by doing that, we're able to hack into the other accounts and empty them. And the most horrible part is that he died from an overdose, along with another young man and a woman, and they found out that it was a gang that was doing this.
Oh, wait a minute. So wait, this is horrible. So he was...
Yes.
He was in New York, and he was
in New York City.
And he got drugged, and then they used his face to open his phone, and then they robbed everything out of his bank account, and then he died of an overdose?
He did, and this was 2 years ago, May of 2022, and another young man also died from it, and I hate to tell such a long story, but his mother could not accept that he may have taken the drugs on his own. The investigation was kind of murky, so she went up there and they did more research, and about 24 other people came out and said, yes, this happened to me. So that helped the police investigation, and as I stand now, I believe there are 5 people in jail, 2 facing murder, second-degree murder charges, and all these other robbery charges too. And her message wanted me to get out was, do not let this happen to you. Don't let your guard down, and please be careful.
Wow, what a horrible story, Lori.
Yes. So she was able to turn it into something positive by getting justice. But my question is facial recognition actually safe? And what else would you do to protect your accounts?
Yeah, see, so many of us, we have our phones that are set up for facial recognition, right? Because we don't want to have to punch in a 4, 6, or 10-digit code or whatever it may be in order to open our phones because we're opening them so much, right? We're looking at them for texting or email or looking at different apps. Is that, what you can do is not use facial recognition, and you can use a strong PIN or password or pattern lock as an additional layer of security. For your online accounts, you want to do 2-factor authentication, but maybe you want to use, instead of them sending the 2-factor authentication code to your phone that the robbers have, is that you can have it sent to an authenticator app, and then you have another layer of protection. You can limit any type of sensitive information that you have on it. But, I think here the big lesson is education on digital safety, right?
Thank you. It certainly is.
It's when you are out in a new place, you're even in your hometown. I mean, this could happen, right?
Right. That's for sure.
That you are careful of your surroundings. You're careful of who you go back to a room with or who you befriend.
Correct.
And because you don't know what's going to happen once that door is closed. You know, it's up to and including, Lori, that even now there are robberies that are happening, that you meet somebody at a bar, okay? And they say, oh, you know, let's share contact information because maybe we want to get together again, okay? And so you look at your phone and maybe you have to punch in a PIN number, and it's not just your face. And then when you put in your PIN number is that you put your phone down and then they swipe the phone and they run away.
Well, that's absolutely true.
Because now they just get $1,500, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But you know, I'm happy to hear that you know that your, I guess that would be your aunt, right?
Well, it would actually be his mother. He's like a third cousin.
Oh, okay, all right. So he's third cousin. So you know, so that she was able to pull herself together after such a tragedy, right?
It was. And no, she did mention that I could use, excuse me, she did mention I could use his name so other people could read the story because it has been in the press.
Sure, you can mention his name.
Okay, his name is John Umberger, Umberger, and she's been interviewed by magazines and NBC and ABC and other things too. So, but I just want people to be safe, Kim, and I know it's a terrible story though. It
is, but you know, it's an important story. It is. So, you know what? Maybe, Lori, you and I and your cousin's mom, okay, maybe we just saved somebody else's life. This very moment, because somebody is listening or somebody is going to share this story with their loved ones and their family. I mean, think about this. You know, we all had things that our parents taught us growing up, right? About going to a bar. Okay. You know, nothing good happens after midnight. Think about that. I mean, I heard that. You know, maybe it was even if you're a little bit older, your mom or dad told you to put a quarter in your pocket in case you needed to make a phone call. Okay. Maybe that's what it was. Or maybe it's just, if you're ever in a situation, it doesn't matter what you are, what you're doing. If you need help, just call me or wake me up. Be home by 11 p.m., whatever it may be. Okay. Now, the digital safety when you go out is that you need to watch your phone because you're holding $1,500 right there. That's a lot of money to somebody. And the fact that they can get into your account by facial recognition takes it on a whole new level. I hope all those guys rot in jail. Lori, thank you for your call. Gosh, I just love taking your phone calls. I do. I have such a great time doing this. So, do you share your password with your spouse, your partner, your significant other, girlfriend, boyfriend? Let me tell you, you're not alone. Pew Research says 75% of people in committed relationships in the U.S. hand over their smartphone passwords to their partners. Okay, 75%. You know, I was actually surprised that wasn't higher. Really wasn't. Now, what happens if the romance goes south? You know, breaking up is hard to do, especially if you share passwords. And not to say that your ex is a crazy person and go on some digital rampage, but why take the chance? So what's the move if your ex does know your passcode? First, no rocket science here, folks. Change the password. We're talking about everything from Hulu to your email, social media, Amazon Prime, but also if you went all out on smart home gadgets, your thermostats, your lights, security systems, garage doors, Wi-Fi. Don't forget to update those passwords and settings too. Now, a lot of people forget about the router. So that's super important because they could turn on remote access and then see access to anything. So make sure that you always set that router back to factory defaults or get a new one if it's a couple of years old. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as later on how you can make money as an Amazon influencer. You can do this here on The Kim Komando Show.
Hey, Billy, why don't we tell them what we're about, man?
So we're here to welcome you to the Madhouse Chronicles. It's a talk show with myself, Billy Morrison.
And me, Ozzy Osbourne.
This man, Prince of Darkness. And we watch and react to the maddest internet clips. What do we discuss, Ozzy?
Drugs, rock and roll, aliens, all that kind of shit.
Drugs, rock and roll, aliens, and all that kinds of shit. Come and join Ozzy and myself. Visit osbornemediahouse.com to get special access to...
Come on!
What do you say? Do you think it's the wildest show on the internet?
Oh.
Hey, if you're not already getting my podcast, what are you doing? You're missing out. I do a podcast really super fun, totally different than the show here. It's called Kim Komando Today. It's more about just conversations with industry insiders and fun people. And Andrew Babinski's my co-host on that. And Ali Sullivan joins us from time to time. It's Kim Komando Today. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Komando Today. Or you can actually watch us do it live too, or on demand over at youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. Let's see. Brent in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hi, Brent.
We've got an educational company, and we've got what they call enrichment centers in Malaysia, where we have a teacher in front of the children, and behind the teacher is a widescreen TV. We've been using DVDs to augment the in-person activities. Mm-hmm. And we can't get DVD players over there anymore. We need to find a way to run those DVDs with a remote or whatever, but digitally instead of with a DVD player.
Oh, there's a couple. My first inclination is, why are we using DVDs in the first place? Is there any reason why you're not putting these up on YouTube or using, say, Google Drive or Dropbox?
They're using the menu to navigate around.
Okay. You can create menus with web-based content. It may be a little bit more cumbersome. So if you do need to create the menus, probably then we're looking at, you could get a media player and you could put all these files on SD cards, but that's going to be really hard. But they do have remote control, so you could go from chapter to chapter, so to speak. There you're looking at like probably a Roku or Android TV box, and you're going to save the files as MP4 files. You could create your own system, but I don't think you want to do that using a Raspberry Pi box. Then there's probably, I bet you probably, if you looked at something called BrightSign, that's what companies use to display videos and presentations, like when you walk into like some big major corporations. But they also have menu options and remote controls as well. But it would be somehow, if you could figure out if you could get past the menu and maybe save each chapter as an individual file, then that would probably give you the greatest latitude and the greatest long-term solution, because then you'd have it up in the cloud. You can, here in the United States, you could populate all of that, and they wouldn't necessarily have to have a remote or a menu system anymore, as well as just go to file number 1. You could call it chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, which, everybody in the world knows how to use YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, as long as you don't violate anybody's copyrights on these DVDs, you'll be fine. You could also create a hidden YouTube channel that, unless you know the file's address, is that it's not accessible, searchable to everybody in the entire world. Because I think when we start looking at using something like BrightSign or Android TV box, I just think we're making it more complex than we need to make it, because we want to keep it really simple, right? I mean, and so that's where it's like, ripping the DVDs. You can use software like Handbrake to do that.
We don't need to. We've got the files. There are DVDs. Okay. We made them for the classroom.
Oh, perfect. Okay, then you already have the files, and I would figure out how to structure it on YouTube. You could create a playlist for each individual lesson plan. That would probably be the easiest solution for you, is to take these files that you've already created, get them up on YouTube, create playlists. And as I mentioned, everybody in the world uses YouTube. And it'd be a lot easier and a lot more streamlined than to figure out how to get the files on cards, send everything over. Oh, I'm just thinking of like maintenance, tech support. Oh, no. Just put them up on YouTube. If you need any help with that, Brent, just give me a call back. And thanks for your call today. Let's see. We have time. How about Gail in Everett, Washington? Hi there, Gail.
So my husband, who is a 100% disabled veteran, has some mild dementia and mobility issues, and he enjoys watching TV and movies. but he is unable to manage the Amazon Fire Stick type remote. The up-down confuses him. The tiles confuse him.
Sure.
However, he can use an old-fashioned remote that you push in a number, So I was wondering if there's any alternative for him other than going back to cable TV where he can just push in a number and get a channel.
Would it be good for him if he had one remote that had, say, 5 buttons on it? So, like, you could program his favorite channels?
Yes.
Okay. There's something called the Simple One-Click Universal TV Remote. Doesn't that sound exciting? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What should we call it? Let's call it. I always, can't you just imagine like people around a conference room, all these marketing people? Well, let's call it. What should we call it? It's called the Simple One-Click Universal TV Remote. Okay. It just rolls off the tip of your tongue. Anyway, it's designed to be simple for folks that are having memory issues. It has a large button for the volume. It has one channel button, an on-off button, and a mute button. And it works with almost every TV, streaming, whatever it may be that's out there, as long as it has a standard IR remote, which is this one does. But it has 5 numbers on it. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could program his 5 favorite shows on there. And then he'd be able to just hit that button and then go to each one without having to navigate through a whole bunch of buttons and without you having to go back to cable, because who wants to do that? Because it's super expensive. Although streaming is really expensive now too. The price on this is $40. Gail, hang on the line and we'll send you over an Amazon link to this so you can check it out. And thank you for your call. Just a quick reminder, if you have not already, make sure that you enter to win that brand new iPhone 15. Yes, $799 value. You can enter to win right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, the address, winfromkim.com. Because I'm Kim. I'm going to give you a brand new prize, winfromkim.com. All right. Do you like to buy stuff online? Are you great at social media? And do you like money? Now, if you answered yes, this is a side hustle for you. It's called the Amazon Influencer Program. It's great for content creators with followings big and small. You're going to get an Amazon storefront where you create and share content about the products. You review videos, you have demos, photos, blog posts to help your followers decide what to buy. Now, you get a unique referral link. When someone uses that link to make a purchase, you earn a commission, sometimes 10% or more. So think about this. If 10 of your followers buy a $100 product, you just made $100 yourself. So sign up directly at Amazon's site. It's the Amazon Influencer Program. Hey, thanks for being here. Be sure that you tell one person about the Kim Komando Show, because after all, knowledge is power.
This program is a copyrighted production of Westar Multimedia Entertainment and protected by the copyright laws. Any rebroadcast or use of this program for commercial, business, economic, or financial purposes without the written permission of Westar Multimedia Entertainment is strictly prohibited.